Hey guys, this is Tyler from Motion Array, and today I want to show you how to create this cool reflective metal texture all inside of After Effects. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to do this. Alright, so here we are in After Effects, and the first thing I want to do is to create my text composition. So I'm just going to make a new composition that is 1920 by 1080, and I'm just going to type some text in here. And I'm actually going to change this to a different font. I'm going to change it to just a Helvetica, and I will make it bold and scale it up a bit. So there we go, we have our text layer. Now I'm going to apply a few effects to this layer. So I'm going to apply the ramp effect first, and I'm going to bring this dark point down. All right, that's looking pretty good. And now I want to add some fractal noise. Drop that on. And under transform, I'm going to uncheck uniform scaling, and I'm going to scale the width up really big and scale the height down really small. Something like that looks pretty good. And I'm going to change the blending mode to be add. And I'm going to take the opacity down some to about there. Now I'm going to duplicate this fractal noise, but on this instance of the effect, I'm going to change the scale to be 1 and 1, and that just adds like this nice kind of grain to it. And I'm going to bring the opacity down also. All right, so now we have our text composition. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to create the kind of reflection map that's going to be showing up on our text. So I'm going to create a new HD composition, and I'll just call this reflection map. And I'm going to open that up, and I'm just going to add a new solid in here. And I will add some fractal noise to it. Now under the transform, I'm going to uncheck uniform scaling, and I'm going to scale the height up a lot. And I will increase the contrast and decrease the brightness a bit. And I'm also going to add a keyframe here on offset turbulence at the beginning of my timeline. And I'll jump forward to about 10 seconds and just kind of shift this over just a little bit, not too much. So that is looking pretty good. Now I'm going to add another solid in here, and I'm going to apply the ramp effect to it. And I'm going to rotate it and change it to be a screen. And I'm actually going to add a couple keyframes to the position of this layer. And I'm going to move it in the opposite direction of the fractal noise. All right, perfect. All right, so now that I have my reflection map composition and my text composition, I'm going to add everything together and make this thing look good. So I'm just going to create a new HD composition, and I'll just call this final. And the first thing I'm going to do is just drag my text comp in, as well as the reflection map. And I'm going to put the reflection map underneath the text layer, and I'm going to set its track matte to be alpha matte. So now it's using the text layer for its alpha channel. So I actually want to turn this eyeball back on and set its blending mode to be screen. So now we can see both our metal texture as well as the reflection map in here. So that's looking pretty good there. And the next thing I want to do is actually add the blobalize filter. So I'm just going to search for blob, and there it is there. And I'm going to apply that to my reflection map. And underneath the settings, I'm going to change the blob layer to be text, and I'm going to change this from lightness to alpha. So now we can start to see this taking shape a little bit here. Now I want to apply another effect to my reflection map. I'm going to come up to Effect, Color Correction, and Curves. And I'm just going to increase the contrast a little bit. And I'm going to come to the blue channel and throw some blue in there, and the green channel. Whoa, not that much green. And throw a little bit of green in here just to give it some color. All right, so that's looking pretty good there. And I'm going to add a new adjustment layer on top of everything else here. And I'm going to apply a few effects to this adjustment layer. So the first thing I'm going to add is just a levels effect. So I'm going to add that on. And I just want to increase the overall contrast of this entire thing. So that looks pretty good in there. And the next thing I want to do is add a bevel. So I'm going to search for bevel, and I'm going to choose the bevel alpha, drop that on top, and change the direction of the light a little bit, and increase the edge thickness as well. And one more effect I want to add is a light sweep. So I'm just going to search for light sweep, 2 words, and drop that on. And I want to decrease the sweep intensity, and I want to increase the width, and just adjust this edge thickness a little bit here, and the position of it as well. Now, if you don't know what this is doing, it's basically adding just a little bit of rim light to the text layer here. All right, so that's looking pretty good there. Now, if we scrub through, we can see that all of this is moving like it should. The next thing I want to do is just add a couple of circles to our text layer. So I'm going to search for circle and drop that on and switch this to add. And I'm going to bring it down here to this bottom right corner, and I'll change the color to be like a nice orangish color and increase the feather up a bit. Now, the only reason I'm doing this is to add a little bit of color into our text layer. And I'm going to duplicate this and change it to more of a blue and move the position up here somewhere on the top left. Maybe feather it out a little bit more. All right, so that's looking pretty good there. Let's go ahead and do a RAM preview to see what we have going on. All right, so there you go. This looks pretty good. You can see this reflective card here getting distorted as it moves across the text, as well as this other texture underneath. And you know, if you want, you can come in here to this fractal noise and increase the scale, the contrast. You can do whatever you want until you find something that you like. So anyway, that's how you make this cool, glossy, reflective metal texture inside of After Effects. I hope you liked this tutorial, and thank you so much for watching.